You might be a slight disorder of the stomach. It makes them cheats. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There is more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are.
I moved here from Los Angeles in '98. I had seen, when I was in Los Angeles, Sir Patrick Stewart do a one-man A Christmas Carol. And the poster of it was spectacular. It was him in this very elegant, sort of Victorian-looking suit. And there's all this smoke rising about him, and he's staring off and pointing in the distance. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then I go to the show, and it's a table and a chair and a podium, and he comes out with a book, and he stands at the podium. Marley was dead. I went, well, dude, this is not what the poster promises at all. And so I moved back to Nashville. I thought, let's do A Christmas Carol. Why not? And it sort of had been suggested a couple of times to me. And I've been doing it in some fashion or another for 22 years.
And I would say Mark Kabus is one of Nashville's foremost and maybe sometimes only true thespians.
Yeah, just as an actor, he's one of the most studied and full-throated, from the heart performers. And what he did with creating the show has given it 20 years worth of legs. And he said he had never really seen it because he's always the guy on stage. And so we wanted to make sure, with TPAC's help, that this was a production he could finally see and be proud of.
When we started looking at the scope of what we wanted this to be, it seemed that having some sort of score was necessary to sort of buoy it up, to hold it up in places. So it became very obvious to Coke Sams and Clark Gallivan and myself that we needed something else. And I said, I think I know someone who I want to ask.
What I look for in whether it's a song or in this piece, I look for what I would call an emotional atmosphere. And if I can find that, if I can feel what the emotional atmosphere of a situation, whether it's a song, whether it's a play, in this case a film, then I can maybe have an idea about what is the musical sound that might represent that.
Mike, coming into this, adds kind of a whole nother element in terms of what this will be by the time it's complete.
We both decided very early on that a big sound was just not going to work, a big orchestral sound. So we've kind of narrowed it down to more like a chamber ensemble, right? 4 or 5, 6 instruments at the most.
Naturally, with a ghost, you think of low strings, you know? I think of not too beautiful chords, leaving the thirds out of the chord, for example. A little more openness.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what he comes up with because, you know, he's pretty brilliant at what he does, and I'm extremely honored that he's wanting to be a part of this project. I think it'll make it extra special.
Mark kept telling us it's a ghost story. It's not the Dickens Christmas Carol that you see in a lot of theater. It's a ghost story.
Yeah, they're gonna get a darker tale, but I think that Scrooge's redemption at the end is earned. It's more rewarding, more satisfying.
He has a whole different take on the meaning of the story, the Dickens Christmas Carol, I think.
It's an amazing piece of writing, extraordinary. And the glory of creativity for me is longevity. And the fact that this thing is so resonant, particularly coming out of Mark, the way he does this, it is entirely believable. You'll be amazed how believable he is in all these characters.
It's hard to replace the energy of being in the room with the actors on the night. And so
with the audience.
Yeah, you're a part of a happening.
And so, as we thought about how do you replace the energy of the audience and how do you shoot in an empty theater, we got closer instead of farther away and up on the stage, and like we're around a campfire and he's telling us this story. So it's much more intimate.
I don't know of many TV or film actors that could do this like what he's doing. I think it takes an amazing, extraordinary skill that is learned in live performance.
The reason I love the story is I love Christmas. I love everything about it. It's always been my favorite time of year. The fellowship of friends and family and food and giving and love, the message of peace on earth is universal. I wish we could take Christmas and celebrate it 365 days of the year. That would be awesome. But we get one day, so I'm gonna squeeze everything I can out of that. And this play kind of gives me the chance to do that and to hopefully spread a little bit of that Christmas spirit to everybody else.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year!